Okay, then. All right. So back. No. No. I'll eventually get the hang of this, I am sure. And I've got to check my comments here because this works for me. And I don't want to mess it up. Okay. And then there it goes. Hi, Tammy. I guess you are on. There we go. Okay. Good morning. I'm seeing the comments here. I'll have to practice one day with somebody. How are you doing? Every time I use this Tibetan bowl, it just brings me back to center. It like brings me back home, brings me back to myself. I should use it more often. So, and how are you doing? I guess I can share this. I like this new setup. However, I did this right now. It's just so much easier for me to navigate through the Facebook. And that's about it. I'm happy about that. Today's energies have been really strong and heavy. Actually, I woke up thinking it's Sunday. And I went and I got my coffee and I said, well, it's Sunday. I'm going to wait a few minutes before writing in my journal. I went and I sat in my balcony and I was drinking my coffee. And it took me a few minutes to realize that, no, it's not Sunday. Today's Tuesday. So I'm not quite sure about that. But the energies are very heavy. The energies are a little unsettling today. So it's about learning to decide, do I want my energy focused on something that is draining my energy? Or do I want to take charge and change it and focus on something that brings me joy, focus on something that will change my energy, and so I can change the energy that is around me, and then it becomes a domino effect. And once I decided that I wasn't going to allow whatever pressure it is right now on our planet to affect me, it almost like was instantaneous. I called a few people to check on them. I took care of a couple of very important things. So make that decision for yourself. And let's pick a card for today, and then let's pick a card for the rest of the week, because tomorrow is May 26th. It is the day that there will be a huge download. It is full moon, And actually, I did want to share that the download won't be just tomorrow. The download will continue until June 10th. So I am going to quickly look at the calendar here. So yeah, that's a little over 2 weeks. So that's a wonderful thing. We will have continuous opportunity to meditate, to bring our attention back to what we want, to say our prayers, not just for ourselves, for our future, for our family's welfare, but for all of our humanity and our planet and our uh, universe, our galaxy, our cosmos. I'm quite not sure. I have to look it up to see, how it goes out. So today's card we're going to do from the bliss cards from my teacher in Canada. I love her so much. I only have a few of these cards, but it's an action card. So love it, love it, love it. I am radiant being of light. And I'll hold this here and see if you guys can see it. I am a radiant being of light. And I feel this should be our affirmation, our motto for the day. I am a radiant being of light. How do you like that? I love it. Yeah, can you imagine walking around saying, I am a radiant being of light? And imagine what kind of light you can pass to people when you go to the post office, the grocery store, everywhere, when you're talking to people, sending that radiant light to people. I think it's wonderful, and we should all do it every day. So that's the card for today. We talked about May 26th, tomorrow's download, huge download with the full moon. It will continue. We can continue to tap into it through June 10th. So if you are not one of those people that writes in your journal, if you're not one of those people that writes your goals, that has vision board. I have a great class of vision board that I teach, because I don't just, it's not just about clipping pictures and gluing them on a board. It's about where it goes on the board, and NLP. I use NLP meditation and NLP and visualizing in bringing the things that we want into flourishing. So it's an amazing class. Anyways, the next 12 days, writing down exactly what you want out of life. We don't want to just float through it. We can dare to dream, we can dare to desire, we can dare to pray and ask and take actions and get the downloads for it, for ourselves and for humanity in the next 12 days. And today I wanted to talk about guilt and shame. And I wrote in my blog, I believe I mentioned it, and on Facebook I mentioned it, that I was a master of guilt and shame. And guilt and shame, of course, are not things that we are born with. They are emotions, they are feelings that are thought. It's a form of manipulation when somebody shames us for something, right? When somebody guilts us to doing something we don't want to. And they know exactly how to do it. And most of the time, it's the people that are closest to us. Could you please, would you please? I have no one else, right? I don't know who else to ask. What would I do without you? Anything and everything used to guilting and shaming you into doing what you don't want. And that was a part of my growing up. My mother, God bless her, I love her. She was a great teacher for me with that. Always, always guilting and shaming me. And the thing is that after I was old, after I moved, away from my parents, I continued to do that to myself. I didn't need anyone else to be around. I could be living on my own on an island and guilting and shaming myself. Uh, and, let me know if you guys have gone through something like that. Uh, if you guys can understand or feel what I'm talking about. So I learned to guilt and shame myself because I thought that's how life was supposed to be. If there's no one else to do it, then I've got to do it to myself. I would, if I said something wrong or if I did something wrong, I would just continue to guilt and shame myself, not just that day or that week or that month, anytime, absolutely possible. I would remember it and I would shame myself for saying that, for doing something, and call myself all different kinds of names, which were not nice, of course. And it just would go on. I would belittle myself for saying something wrong for months and months on end. It was a form of torture that I just put myself through, thinking that that's what I deserve. That's how I deserve to live. And it took me a very long time to learn I don't need to do this. I don't need to hang on to something that I said that was wrong or hurtful forevermore, throughout eternity, wearing it like a badge of honor, like it's something I need to always remember myself by. So, are you all right? You're having a panic attack? I'm sorry, my dog's having a panic attack. Um, Maybe she's feeling my energies. So we don't, when we do something that upsets somebody else unconsciously or even on purpose, especially if it's on purpose, and we realize we've done them, we've triggered ourselves into looking deeper within ourselves to finding out why that happened, finding out why you said what you said, so you can learn from it. That's an opportunity to learn from, not an opportunity to use to make yourself feel bad. You just observe, okay, I said this, and the other person said, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. That hurt me. and you step back from it and you go home and you start thinking about it. So you just want to go deeper into it. Why did I say it? You just analyze it as if you're an outsider. Because as long as you're inside of the situation, there's a lot of emotion. We do want to honor our emotions, but we don't want to be carried away by them. Because when we get carried away, we miss the learning opportunity. And the whole point is to learn from it so that you do not repeat it again. So in order to learn from it, in order not to be that person, in order to not hurt someone else, we need to analyze it. We need to think about it and without our emotions involved, so we can learn. And sometimes that takes time. Sometimes when something has been said and there's a confrontation with a loved one and you're upset, give yourself time. You know, you don't have to jump into the lesson right away. You're not in competition with anybody. You're just learning things. So the trick is not to wallow in the sadness for a long time. Give yourself a little bit of time and then say, okay, that's enough. Now I want to learn my lesson. At the beginning, I used to write things down. Okay, this is what happened. This is what it made me feel like. This is what I think my lesson is. And I would just bank that. Okay, I have to, because it's still very raw, it's still very emotional for me. I kind of have to bank that and then come back in a few months and visit it. So that kind of process for me was very calming, and it allowed me to move past the situation. And something else would come up with, you know, totally different situation that had nothing to do with the first one. And again, I would write it down. This is what happened. This is how I felt. This is how the other person felt. And this is what I think my lesson is. And that's bank number 2 or folder number 2. So you have all these different folders. And sometimes you'd notice when you write them down, as if you were to write them on little post-it notes, you would see that they're connected with each other. Oh, this one's connected to this one. That one's connected to that one. And then you will find a kind of a thread that goes with them. But again, you can look at them separately. You don't have to look at them all at the same time. When you're ready, you'll pick up a folder, you'll pick up an issue, you'll pick up a lesson, however you want to think about it, and you can process as much as you want with it, analyzing it, why you thought you said that, how were you feeling that day when you said that, what was going on when you said that, and writing those down. And then you might have to bank that again. So guilting and shaming, again, we learn from our loved ones. Guilting and shaming really are lower energetic vibrations, and that's why they bring our energy down. And if somebody is trying to do that to you and then they manage to do that and you realize that afterwards, that's still fine. It's wonderful. Give yourself credit that you've noticed it afterwards. Write it down again. Why you didn't realize it at that time. What can you do next time around not to take the bait? It's all the more understanding and compassion and kindness you have for yourself, the easier you can navigate through any issue, anything that comes up, because you will know that you're not going to be hard on yourself. It's when we're hard on ourselves that we don't want to look at issues. When we expect so much of ourselves that we have difficulty to look at things and think about them, learn the lesson, and move through it so it doesn't come up again. The more critical you are of yourself, the harder it is to move past it. At some point, you have to, it will be good, I should say, to acknowledge that being that critical with yourself, being that having that high expectation of yourself is actually going against your improvement as a spiritual, emotional, mental, psychological human being. So taking it easy, I said this, taking responsibility. Of course, there is always two people, going back and forth. The other person has to do their own lessons if they want to. They don't have to do them. The other person, it's all their business. You need to focus on you. You need to focus on how you can come to peace with yourself, how you can learn the lessons that they're there for you to learn so that you can move on. So the same lesson, the same issue, the same conversation doesn't come up. And if it does come up, because for me, sometimes things do come up, I think about them, I analyze them, and is this still mine, or have I moved on? And sometimes, actually quite often, I've moved on. I have learned. I don't need to go there again. So again, be kind and compassionate and understanding with yourself, and write as much as you can. Writing down in a journal is truly going to be your own GPS. Jennifer Hoffman always uses GPS. It's going to be your own navigation guide to go within your heart, because everything is within your heart chakra. All the wisdom you need, all the answers that you need is right in here in your heart chakra. And as you work through your lessons, it's almost like you're clearing the way to being one with your heart, being one with your own intuition, and being able to connect to it, to tap into it every time you want. It's an amazing feeling, really, when we connect to that. So, is there anybody that would like cards? I know I talked and talked and talked, and I did want to pull a card for this week. So I am going to pull a card this week. If you would like a card, let me know. I know it's not comfortable to talk about guilt and shame, to realize that it's going on, but the more you open your heart and your energy field into things that are uncomfortable, the more easier you can move through them, the faster you can move through them and be done with them. this week. Attraction. Attraction is this week's card. The energy of attraction amplifies the qualities that attract and support you on your journey towards inner balance and harmony. Beautiful. So the kind of energy you want to attract is the kind of energy you want to give out. So if you are getting the kind of energy that you don't want, and you're wondering why, why are all the drivers around me angry? Notice that realize that there's something that you are angry with and you don't want to acknowledge it. And once you acknowledge it, once you resolve it, once you come to peace with it, then it's gone. So you can learn from what's coming at you as well as and resolving those things. Well, it looks like something is going on. And when you have a goal that this is the kind of energy I want to attract, then you know where to go towards. See, if you don't know the kind of energy you want to attract, if you're not clear, oh, I want to attract positive energy. Why? Why do you want to attract positive energy? And then something else will come, because then I will have positive friends. Why do you think you don't have positive friends? So the more you become clearer on what you want to attract, the faster the roadway will be towards it. But as long as it's vague, I want positive energy. So if my energy level is here and I could get here, but I say I want positive energy, maybe I come up here. Maybe this is positive energy. So I've come up here, yet my potential is here. So you want this clarity from where you are. You just don't want to go or where you will go up. We will go up step by step, of course, sometimes 2 steps, sometimes we go back down, we come back up. But as long as we have this goal, then there's something to look forward to. Then there is a clarity to that will always bring us back to focus. So if there's no one that would like a card for the week, then I bid you all farewell. Get your diaries out, start writing in them. Don't be upset when there's lessons, triggers. Those are your triggers, are your lessons to how to get into your heart by resolving them with kindness, with compassion, and with love, and with understanding. And vision boards and everything in between. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you next Tuesday, I hope. Okay.